Support WrestleTalk!
Tell a friend.
He has been called a hardcore legend, a risk taker, and a true great of professional wrestling. But Mick Foley never had a lengthy main event run that many felt he deserved, his career being cut short by years of physical torture and injuries. Because of other issues in WWE though, Foley's retirement plans were pushed back from 1999 to 2000 and led to a return he wished he never had. I am Luke Owen and this is the storyline behind Mick Foley's retirement in 2000. The year is 1999, and Mick Foley's dreams of being the top guy in wrestling were finally coming true. He won the WWF Championship from The Rock on the January 4th edition of Monday Night Raw, and the two traded it back and forth up until WrestleMania. Although he'd been taken out of the planned main event, Mankind would win the championship back at SummerSlam in a triple threat, but dropped it less than 24 hours later on Monday Night Raw to Triple H. It was his most successful career year to date, but 1999 was bittersweet. Foley knew it would be his last. The year previous saw Mankind take on The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match at King of the Ring, featuring the now iconic moments of Foley being thrown off the cell and through the roof, both of which caused him major issues. Ever since the infamous Hell in a Cell match in June of 1998, which had left me with a concussion, one half missing teeth, a dislocated jaw, 14 stitches in my mouth, a dislocated shoulder, and a bruised kidney, Vince had forced me to take it a little easier. Foley writes in his book, Foley is Good, that he knew he had one good year left in him before he had to retire. Because he wasn't at his peak performance anymore, he was often put into multi-man matches or tag matches to hide his weaknesses following WrestleMania. With Foley set to be on the way out, he wanted to use his star power to help get guys over. Problem was, his body wouldn't allow it. He was gaining more and more weight and his physical state was deteriorating. Towards the end of 1999, he was put into a feud with Val Venus that was supposed to elevate the mock porn star. But the matches weren't very good, and Val's push was quickly squashed. He even had a clothesline edited off TV when he won the tag titles with Al Snow, because he fell over with the move when he wasn't supposed to. While playing soccer with my kids, I had realized that if the ball wasn't kicked directly to me, I couldn't really get it. To make matters worse, I felt my mind was starting to slip. I seemed to lose my train of thought more regularly. My sense of direction was getting worse. It was on that night where Al Snow and Mankind won the tag team championships where Foley told Vince he wanted to retire. When Vince heard his story, he told Mick that he had just had his last match and he could retire as one half of the tag team champions. Foley argued about doing a retirement match, and Vince agreed to one more against The Rock at Survivor Series. Sadly for Foley, news broke that Steve Austin's neck injury was more serious than people thought, and he was going to need to take a lot of time off. Plans had to change, and Foley's retirement was postponed. There has been a lot of talk this week about a retirement announcement, but with the uncertainty about Austin, the company didn't want to have it appear publicly. Two of its three most popular performers were in danger of injury-induced retirement at the same time. It wasn't just Austin's injury. The Big Show was the current WWF champion, but was failing to get the fans behind him, which probably wasn't helped by his first and only feud being with the Big Boss Man, and a really bad reaction at Madison Square Garden had convinced McMahon to put the belt back on Triple H. The idea being that Foley could have his final feud against another up-and-coming guy and help get him over. A top guy in this business should mean that your name is at the top of the marquee and people will come. Don't matter who you're wrestling, they'll come. Neither Mick nor I was that guy. Austin was, but he was gone. They put us in a position to be those marquee guys, and the fact Mick wanted to do it with me, I was humbled and blown away. Foley re-debuted in January 2000 as Cactus Jack and had a fantastic street fight against the Game at Royal Rumble, and then an epic Hell in a Cell match at No Way Out, where Foley had to retire if he lost. Knowing it was his final match, Foley wanted to replicate the spot from the 1998 King of the Ring, where he went through the cage, only this time to do it a lot safer. I hit the ring and a good portion of it collapsed, as, fortunately, a team of experts had been preparing diligently for my landing while Triple H and I fought on top of the cell. As Triple H hit the pedigree, Jim Ross begged for Cactus to kick out as the referee counted 3. Mick Foley had to retire. I only needed to walk up the aisle, a simple 20 yards. It was a long 20 yards, and it may have been the saddest walk of my life, the happiest as well. Then I turned back, not just to look at the fans, but at 15 years of memories. My eyes welled up and my face started trembling. The scene was perfect. It was the culmination of a great storyline and a really awesome retirement. But then he came back in a few weeks later and was in the main event of WrestleMania. The main event of WrestleMania 2000 was originally designed to be Steve Austin versus The Big Show, but that was changed when Austin was injured to instead be Triple H versus The Rock, where Rocky would win back the WWF Championship. Following Foley's brilliant promos about never headlining WrestleMania, however, Vince wanted to give the fans and Foley a WrestleMania moment. For fans watching though, it wasn't the moment we'd all hoped for, and Foley felt the same. It was amazing to see how quickly the fans turned on Foley, which made it clear Rock had to be the face there at the end. The fans gave Foley a half-hearted standing ovation as he left. It was an attempt to replay the same scene from last month. It looked like a pale imitation. Looking back, I kind of wish it hadn't happened. Hey, want to hear the true story about Rob Van Dam losing the WWE Championship? And man, look at some of these SummerSlam disasters. You can find out more by clicking those videos over there. Press subscribe and support WrestleTalk on Patreon. I am Luke Owen, and that was Reasons.